of the things you talked about is like values and finding a job, because I can see like easily how you tie in the values to the Great Resignation, where people are all of a sudden going like, you know what, I didn't even know it before, and I maybe don't even know what my values are, but I know that there's a misalignment. But from like an individual's job search, how like, I guess, important is it for somebody to I guess really dig into those values to make sure that they're like starting their search off right?
Yeah, well, if you define values as, how we work, it's the behaviors, how we show up, it's how we make decisions. If you kind of define it as those types of elements, whether it's in a company, like a big corporate values, or even a community, or with yourself, if you don't have that clarity, what happens then is that when you apply for a job, and if both parties, both the company and the team member or the potential employee, are really unsure about those things, then what happens is that you kind of like are feeling your way through it. Okay, I feel there's a connection here, but I'm not quite sure, but I think I like what that person said. I think they seem like they look like they're, a great team from the pictures, and what I'm seeing on the job description. So then you just kind of, okay, I'm just going to go for it. Then you take the job, and then 3 months into it, you start to get to know each other because the behaviors start to come out. And especially under pressure, you start to see how really people work with each other and make decisions. And if they're not aligned, then what happens is there's going to be conflict. It's going to show up really easily. Maybe it starts to feel like you're frustrated. You know what I mean? Like there's some irritation to what's going on. Maybe there's certain decisions that are being made that, they bother you, but you can still live with it. But eventually it might, start to become something. So if you know your values going into it, and the company also is able to articulate it, whether they put it on their website or not, you can still ask them, like, how does what's the company's vision? Like, how do they operate? What makes a great team? What's great leadership? Like, how do you find your leadership philosophy within your organization? If you can answer those questions and you share that, and you feel there's an alignment there, then it's much more of a connection. There's more opportunity for it to be a successful partnership, because it's still a partnership between an employee and a manager or a company. It's still a partnership. The company has to, work just as hard to impress the team member as well as the team member. It's not just, one way. So that's why it's so important for me anyway, that you would have some kind of values alignment. And values alignment to me is different than when people say culture fit. Because I think culture fit is like, I'm trying to fit in with your values of your company. I want to look and feel like I want to be like your team member. Versus if you do values alignment, I know my values. That's the company's values. How do they align? But let's still honor each other, but also support each other in how we view the world.
Yeah.